Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Melanated Beauty. Today I'm going to be showing you how I turn these placemats into these beautiful boho wall hangings for your home. These Dollar Tree placemats cost me roughly about $2 to $3 each, with items I either got from the dollar store or items that I already had. So if you want to see how I made these cute boho wall hangings, just keep on watching. So for these placemats, you're going to be needing these round placemats that you can find at the dollar store, and you'll find them in the kitchen area along with other tea towels and placemats. So I picked up 3 of the placemats, and the placemats are this bright orange. I got orange because I'm going to need to cover up the color, so the other colors, which were green and blue, were not going to be able to cover up well. Also have chalk paint and another color of paint that's like a tan brownish for the edge, paintbrush, and a few supplies that I'll be using is some raffia that you can find at the dollar store. And also I'm going to be using this yarn that I already had in the house from previous projects. So to start, I'll be adding an even coat of chalk paint to the placemat all around, and then I'm going to let that dry completely before I add more coats. It did take me about 3 to 4 coats because the orange was so bright, but once it was completely dry, it was good to go. And then I went in with this brown paint. You can use whatever paint color you like. I just had this laying around the house from other projects. You can even use a wood stain to go around it, anything to darken up the edges. It's supposed to replicate like the jute rope type of placemats that you usually find at Target. So this was a great alternative. And I just went around the edges very roughly. I didn't want it to be very clean cut, so I kind of faded the edges out with my brush as the paint started to come off. And I'm going to do that for all 3 of the placemats and let that dry before we continue to decorate them. So here is the first inspiration photo of these white tassels with the placemat. And so I'm going to take the white yarn and just use an old cell phone case, and I'm going to wrap the yarn around the case about 20 times. You can do more or less depending on how thick you want your tassel to be. Then you'll snip your yarn and remove that loop off of the case. Then with your scissors, just cut at the very bottom, and then you have like a bunch of yarn pieces. Then you're going to take another snip of yarn about 5 inches and tie a knot in the middle. To double knot it to secure the yarn. Then you'll take another piece about 5 inches again and just tie it off at the top so you can create a neck for your tassel.
The speaker lead his audience into the scene he described.
And once you've created your first tassel, you're just going to trim it to the length that you desire, and you'll use that as a guide to use for when you make the rest of your tassels. Here I made 12 tassels to go around the placemat, and I'm going to flip the placemat over and just lay out all my tassels evenly to see where I will be hot gluing them.
Character.
Then I went in with my hot glue gun and I started gluing them down to the placemat. You want to be very sure that you are gluing at the very top of the tassel, so when you flip it over and hang it, the tassels aren't going to be flopping everywhere. So make sure to hot glue those tassels down at the very top. And once they're glued down, just go in with some scissors and trim off the excess yarn. And here is the finished results of this cute boho chic tassel placemat. And here is our second inspiration, where we're going to go in with some raffia and have a more natural element to this placemat. So with the raffia, I just snip off a chunk of it and I glue down my first section. And you'll see that it is very long, and we're going to trim it to whatever length that you desire for this placemat. And I did start to glue it at the top and at the very edge before I cut it, but I will not finish doing that. I'm just going to start gluing it at the very top and then let the rest of it hang freely. But for these first few, I did it that way. And so I'm just going to glue it on there, snip it, and then move on to my next piece using that same batch of raffia that I have, and just go around the entire placemat.
It's so special, all I feels when I'm with you. You got me doing things I never thought I'd do. Just so you know, ain't never let you go. You're my whole.
And for our last inspiration photo is this one that I found off Pinterest, and I'm just going to be adding a couple of faux greenery stems around the edge to give it a more natural, organic touch. These stems, I believe I got from Joann's on clearance a while back, and I still hadn't used them, so I decided to use them for this project. And I'm going to start by using that same raffia and just wrapping the bottom stem with it a couple of times and hot gluing it to secure it down.
Your mind was yours, yeah.
Here I just start to bend the stem slightly to make it a little more round to fit the shape of the placemat. Once I have an idea of where I want to place them, I'm just going to add a generous amount of hot glue and place them firmly down on the placemat. And here is the final placemat. I think it turned out really good. I love that I added a couple of actual stems to make it all look cohesive. One with raffia, some greenery, and then the DIY tassels we made. It really makes all of them look like they actually go together, and I love them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Dollar Tree DIY. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.